The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. I'm back this week as your host. Mark, first of all, you did a fantastic job last week.
Well, I don't want to mention it, but there was quite a few comments saying that they didn't want you back.
There was one. There was one comment.
That was me.
It was Mark's burner account. Always Mark's burner account. We've seen a lot of them this week. Burner account from you, Mark. But yeah, a very strange opening. You shocked these two lads.
Flamboyant.
Yeah, it was. Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
Yeah,
I like that. Mark.
Just like to keep you on your toes.
It was different, but you did a fantastic job, boys, in my absence. But yes, the four of us are back today. It's myself, Chris, joined by Bestie, Decker, and Mark. And we've actually got some football to talk about this week.
God, can you believe it?
It's been a while. I'm assuming Bessie didn't watch the game, as usual.
I've seen the goals.
All right, okay.
And bits and pieces.
Okay.
But not the game.
The Scottish Dance Club?
Pardon?
The Scottish Dance Track. Bits and Pieces.
What?
Niche.
What are you talking about?
Bits and Pieces. Classic.
Wow.
Listen to it.
But yeah,
All Scottish listeners will know it.
We're back in action. Their first pre-season game against Gateshead, this one was. And were you there, Mark?
Was I away? I wasn't even listening to you.
Gateshead.
Yes.
Well, I know you were in Gateshead. Were you at the Gateshead
Yes,
game?
I was in Gateshead. It's my home address.
Were you at
Yes.
the Gateshead game?
Yes.
Okay. At any point before kick-off, about an hour and a half before, did you contemplate going? Because of the weather?
100%. Yeah. I was in the home seats, so I had a roof at least. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that-
Gateshead postcode.
yeah, I was allowed. It's my second/first team. Second team.
First team.
Yeah. That's my home team, isn't it?
Okay.
Technically, you're supposed to support your home team.
Okay, right. So the weather was absolutely shocking.
It was awful. Absolutely horrendous.
The worst ever. Like, it was biblical, wasn't it? It was that bad.
Do you reckon it was as bad as that time they played Fiorentina?
I thought it was worse than the Sunderland derby.
That's what I was going with.
Or the
90,
Tommy Wright in goal?
92, 93?
Good goal.
No, that was
No, it was 99.
97, 99, 2000.
Oh, the midweek one.
Yeah.
That one.
When the Leeds' roof was off.
Oh, I'm thinking earlier than that. Where
No, you know,
it
it
was,
was
Are you
uh,
talking about the one where Shearer wasn't playing?
yeah, I know which one
Yeah,
you mean.
yeah.
I was thinking of
Rude
the
Holland
one.
Yeah, when Phillips chipped.
Yeah.
Had the shot and chipped was a good goal.
It was live on Tyne Tees. This is how long ago it was, and they had to get the pitch roller thing from Durham Cricket Club to come and squeegee the water off the pitch.
well, we're not all 50, Mark. So obviously that's why.
Bestie will remember it. He was 33.
Not too sure I do.
I don't think it was the championship season. It might have been the year before.
Well, Sunderland, we
91, 92, something like that.
didn't play Sunderland in the top division until 96, 97. After like
No, it was First Division.
also rather than Championship. I see right. Yes, I'll get where you come from. So not the Premier League, but not the.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Anyway. Used to.
Anyway, it was very wet.
During the war.
So yeah, like you said there, Dick, it was biblical.
horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. As was the team sheet. Can we just start the team sheet? Now listen, I know it's a preseason friendly. I'm not complaining. But when I seen it though, I was like, goodness me! Like it was a Pardew team sheet with 10 left backs, man. Like literally, I was like, literally, how could you make a formation? Out
Yeah.
of
So me and
6-4-1. That's what I was going
me
with.
and Scott mentioned this on the match reaction after the game, and we said that the team sheet came out obviously an hour before kickoff, and in our WhatsApp group, everybody's thinking, "Where's everybody going to play here?" Because there's a lot of fullbacks and not many midfielders to be seen.
It was mad, wasn't it?
Not a single striker.
Yeah.
It was mental. It was absolutely mental.
It was only really 3 players playing in there. Well, would you say? 3 players playing in their true position.
Mm.
I mean, I wasn't asked. I wasn't like bothered. But I mean, when I read it, I was like, interesting. Like, do you know what I mean? It was as the last name on the team sheet was. It was Savage, to be quite honest.
It's a weird thing because I wonder. I'm sitting here trying to kind of justify it and thinking if Howe just wanted to have a look at certain players, give them a chance in the first team, but then, like for instance, you're playing Jamal Lewis, you'd want him to be left back with a centre half, with with
Maxi on the left,
with
and
ordinary
Lewis on left back.
players in their position around him, because that's where you're going to get the most out of
Yeah.
someone, surely. But yeah, it's just a strange one, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It was basically because they were the ones that came back a week earlier than
Yeah.
all the international lads, wasn't it? So
Mm.
you just had to try and make a team out of that. Except Trippier, who just decided to come back a week early.
He loves his football, doesn't he?
That's
Yeah.
chips for you.
So I don't think we've mentioned. Maybe you mentioned this on last week's podcast. But Trippier, when Tonali arrived, and did you mention that? There was a nice little moment how he walks in.
No, that would do with Saint-Maximin, so we'll give it a miss.
Oh right, I just did talk about Maxi loads, and we're not even going to mention them
It
this
must
week.
have been about 45
Really?
minutes worth.
We might have
I'd be
a tiny bit,
surprised
but
if we
not
don't.
much.
I'd be
Not
surprised
much.
if we don't.
We'll cover it every single week. We might as well just change it to Maxi show this. But yeah, Trippier went into the training ground when Tonali arrived, when he was having his little media thing, and basically said, anything that you need, come see me, because I know how hard it is moving to a different country.
You can get them like tabs in that.
Big tabs, dodgy tabs, and that.
Batteries,
Aye.
newspapers.
But I just thought it was a nice little moment and very captain-esque of Trips.
He's been like that since he arrived, hasn't he, really? I think he's kind of the de facto captain. I think if Lascelles goes this summer, the all bets are off, and that he'd be the... I mean, first game of the season, he's wearing the armband, isn't he? Only if he's fit. Like, Lascelles isn't going to be... You wouldn't have thought it was going to start. So Trippier is basically captain now. We've got captains. We've got a team full of captains, which I haven't referred to before, like Sir Dan Burn, Richie, Lascelles, even like the goalkeepers. We've got lads there. Callum Wilson's one, with lads who are kind of leaders on the pitch. We've got a team full of captains, really. I think they're pretty happy. We've got more players who you would say do have those kind of leadership qualities than that don't, which is
Where does Trippier rank in regards to the best captain? Like I'm not going to go back to like war times now, but I mean like in terms of your recent memory. Of course, you've got Shearer and there, you've got Colaccini. Mark would know, but like in terms of what we know he's done since he's come in and the importance he has on the field. How do you think he ranks in that?
It's a weird one because I mean
It's still quite a short period, isn't it?
only
It is
short,
because
actually.
Lascelles, for all Lascelles, is, I think we'd all agree, a more limited player than Trippier. As captain, he was, or has been, is like brilliant for the club. When you think of that thing, it's when I got beat at St Mary's when the Janmark punched the wall, broke his hand, and that was one where Lascelles kind of came to the fore a bit as a captain, as a leader. In the promotion season, when we came back up, the first season, the one that I'm going to say, Rahul, you know, got nothing to do with it. And since really, even when he's not been in the team, he's been the one of the big lads in the dressing room who's kind of, he flattened Lord Yarmie because he didn't like to cut his jib. It's happened with someone else as well, Shelby. I think I might be wrong with Shelby. Like,
How do you know he's one of the big lads in the changing room?
I almost guarantee it. I think Trippier's. I think when we look back in the years to come, and wherever we go, whatever happens, I think we will actually come back and go, God, how important was he?
Yeah,
because I honestly think he is like. As it's funny, like I was always ecstatic when we signed him, and I always think he's been amazing. But like, and this sounds really daft, I'm going to say right, but as the off seasons grew, I've actually grew to understand just how important he actually was. I don't know why certain games are coming to my memory, or there's certain clips I've seen of him, or interviews I've watched again, and I think, actually, hang on, you are absolutely unbelievable for this club, like how important you are. And then to reference, right back to where Chris has just mentioned, like that moment there, like that's just not for the camera, that's just who he is.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean, which is unbelievable.
I remember before his debut, we played. Was it Oxford in a couple? Watford? No, or Cambridge.
Cambridge, we got beat, didn't we?
Yeah, the keeper had a blinder. And even this is his debut, so he's not played for the team before. He's only been there a few days, and he's more or less orchestrating the warm up in front of our corner. He's they telling lads where to go, and he's encouraging.
He also dragged the lads back on the field afterwards as well. When they're all about to go down the tunnel, he grabbed them and brought them back on the field to thank the fans for coming out.
He's like our generation's brand killer.
I always remember like there was
that was where my mind was going.
Yeah, killer. Yeah. That's a good point. Like,
I say our generation, the younger generation's brand killer. We're all old lads.
Yeah. I also love the moment, and this doesn't mean you're a good captain, by the way. I'm just saying I love the moment where I think Lascelles was coming. No, Lascelles came on, but Trippier was still playing, and he ran straight over and gave him the armband.
He does it every time, doesn't
I
he?
just thought it's just lovely that, like, I honestly like to have that awareness within the going. Actually, the skipper's coming on, type of thing, and I don't know.
It's just respect, isn't it?
It is. It is.
It sounds like we're going to have to do a tier special on Newcastle captains.
I don't know how we're getting to there from the Gateshead starting lineup, but anyway, here we are.
So the starting line was questionable, but questionable to the fact that not long after you realise why that is. You chose an 11 to start the game because we're low on numbers. The lads had, the international lads had only came back the day previously or maybe 2 days prior. So the likes of
it was Thursday,
Bruno,
Friday, wasn't it?
Joe, Botman, Fabian Shaw, Wilson. There was a handful of them. And Gordon still didn't even. Actually, Gordon actually got back then as well.
Turned up with these 6 t-shirts sewn together.
He did. He was wearing 6 t-shirts in one. Yes, he was. So it was understandable. I don't think anyone was expecting when the game was announced weeks back that you would be getting a full starting 11 in regards to your strongest players. Never going to happen.
I don't think they ever have against Gateshead.
No.
I remember one time when Brian Pinas came on. Too much tittering.
What a player.
Yeah. No, well, that was one of the things, obviously, when they announced the fixture, they said that they would be sending a first team squad there, which
technically it was.
Made me raise my eyebrows because it doesn't normally happen.
Yeah, technically it was your first team squad that were there with. Obviously, that got changed 2/3 into the game where all the youngsters came on. Arguably started playing better.
But to be fair, all those lads are used to playing together.
Exactly. So the first half, you obviously I know you watched it because you were there. Did you watch it as well?
Bits and pieces, man. I wasn't at the game, but I did watch bits and pieces.
I managed to catch the full 90, and the first half was quite frustrating, Mark. A lot of errors.
Rustiness, wasn't it, really? And like you just mentioned, they're not playing together, not having that familiarity. So you kind of expect it, but it was essentially a training game as well. You know, the way that they were playing it. The Gateshead lads were obviously well up for it as well because it's a big game for them. They've been back in training a little bit longer, already had a handful of games as well. So they're a bit more fit as in match fit, and playing together and stuff like that. So I think that kind of told, which has been a bit sloppy on the ball. But to be fair, we could have possibly have had 3 goals in the first 6-7 minutes. Like literally on 15 seconds, Richie had a one which he puts it to the left corner at the left side of the goal, and the keeper gets a little tip around the post. And bizarrely, referee didn't give a corner for it, but literally that was after just pretty much straight from the kickoff.
I don't think we can complain about the officials too much because that linesman had an absolute shocker. The amount of times Maxi was offside running through and the flag was nowhere.
I think he was waiting for VAR.
Nowhere to be
times I thought I was the linesman, to be quite honest.
It was ridiculous. I think the commentators a couple of times said, he's finally put his flag up now. And they were mocking him as well. Was there any standout performances for anybody in the first half?
The Gateshead keeper, I thought, was really good.
From our side?
No, because I thought their striker looked quite good. What's it called? Against with I believe.
Tatanga or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought he really pressed Dan Burn tremendously.
The high press was great
all the time. All the time.
And it was the 2 local lads who were getting caught every single time. It was Longstaff and Burn every time.
Longstaff had a nightmare.
He was awful. That one, some of the highlights I've seen, there's one where the ball comes over and Dan Burn takes a touch and got it. The ball's in the schooner. Yeah. It's an awful first touch, and their lad just kind of
niche.
Is it Tananga?
It was something like that.
Those lines are.
He was just causing trouble, just being a pest, pressing in that.
He gets away from him, then takes him on, and then eventually Darrell makes a save. But it's a horrible touch.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned him, were you surprised to see Darlow start ahead of the likes of Dubravka or Karius?
Well, Karius, I mean, Dubravka hasn't come back for pre-season training, has he?
Where is he?
I have no idea. Don't ask me. I've not got him.
Because he's not very good at finding.
I don't know. No.
Didn't send him on the scouting mission.
Perhaps he's hanging around in Manchester waiting for a second call.
I'll look, but it'll cost him. No, I have no idea.
Has it been asked to Eddie Howe that at all?
What about the film? No, he doesn't either.
No, about
I don't know.
I don't think so, because Gillespie and Karius have signed new contracts, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Extensions. So that will lead you to believe the reckon Leeds are looking at Darlow. I've just seen
Leeds, Borough, Hull want him back.
And if Dubravka hasn't come back, and he hasn't, I've seen no photos of him doing pre-season training. I've seen stuff with Pope and Karius and Darlow, so he's just not going to be coming back. So, which is a bit of a shame because I think he's been a good keeper for over the years, Dubravka. But it looks like it's going to be Pope, Karius, and then Gillespie. Gillespie's kind of a homegrown thing, like we've done it. But to be surprised, no, I think it's possible that it was his last game for him, unless he plays at Ibrox tomorrow night. But I think you've got to use what's there, and I suppose I've got Karius as well. Like, but yeah, nice to see. I think that was a good stopper. I've always said that.
I thought Karius probably played the better of the two of them.
Yeah,
in the overall 90 minutes.
Karius was a good keeper. That Champions League final, I was saying in the chat earlier, that Champions League final really knackered him. Because he was Liverpool's first choice, and deservedly so. He was a good goalkeeper. I can't remember him being thought of as like a calamity or like that prior to that game.
In the run up to that game, he had a fantastic, obviously running in the Champions League group games,
and he hasn't been the same. I say the same keeper since. He hasn't. He was a positionless. He was.
He just fell out of favour everywhere, mate, and it's probably that reputation of that last game that just absolutely crippled him.
I thought he played well for us in the cup final at Old Trafford, at Wembley. I'd like to see more of him. I suppose if we're playing loads of cup matches this year, you'd imagine Nick Pope would play most of the Champions League games, but I'd like to see more Karius. Like,
just because we're talking about goalkeepers in Champions League, the last Champions League outing, was it Harper that was getting the run out?
Harper and Given, I think the team alternate.
Did they?
Hang on.
I thought Given was playing the Premier League and Harper had the Champions League. I'm sure he did.
It happened quite a lot, to be fair, where they would interchange.
It felt like every week, and that might not be the case, but it felt like every week had a different goalkeeper. But I have to dig out no program and have a look.
Okay.
There's nothing on about physio room about Dubravka being injured around, like, so.
Even if he was injured, you think you'd be back in the round. Should have been there. So I said we weren't going to talk about this player, but I think we'll have to. Okay, just to obviously to wrap up the game and performances. And there's a comment straight away from Nathan Bullock, who is a member of the channel. Hi, Nathan. He says Maxi was frustrating all game, either doing too much when he could have easily took on the shot, tried to take on few more players for his highlight reel. Do you know what it is? I'm normally pretty on the fence with this one, but I thought Maxi was head and shoulders above every other player on that field. 100%. He set up one, so he got his assist, he got his goal, and he put 3 on a plate for players that scuffed the chances. So there was a comment that we got on Twitter when me and Scott done the match reaction. It was saying, "Oh, Maxi's shite, worst player on the field." Hang on a second, like it's. Do you know what it is? It's,
you would have lost.
It's some sort of a vendetta or hatred that
game,
some
right?
people have.
I love the way that you just.
Would you not?
So
you're saying we would have
make
won
these
then?
bold claims.
Was he the best player on the field?
Probably.
So it's not a bold claim.
But I can see what the comments as well, because there was times where he did overcook stuff and things like that. So it depends how you're kind of going in there looking at it. If you're looking to be frustrated by him, you'll be frustrated by him
a lot.
I did laugh at the bit where I think it was Anderson. He created a chance for Anderson, and he put it forward, and he almost wandered off out of the ground, like in frustration. Like afterwards, I think his run had taken him off the pitch, but then when I'm sure it was Anderson missed it, he just kept on going. I thought he was going to go out the bottom gates and like disappear out.
I'm done with this.
Take yourself for a walk along the time.
Do you know what it is? I know players can split opinion, but when players put in a decent performance, and I know it's against Gateshead, I just don't get how people can rate that player complete polar opposites. I think it was Craig Hope that marked him really low on his player ratings for the match. Lower than Longstaff, I think.
Yeah. Fucking.
But that's what I'm saying. It depends what you focus on in the performance. If you like,
assists,
as you say,
goals.
But if you look at that, and then yes, he's assisted and he scored a goal. If you look at the things where he keeps a hold of the ball too long.
I don't think he did.
He did.
I don't think he did.
He did. He 100% did.
Maybe
but
you
I'm
had rain in your eyes.
Possibly.
there
was a lot of that. But overall, I wouldn't have said it was a poor performance by him or anything like that. But
well, you've just said he was probably the best player on the pitch.
He probably was. Yeah.
I don't think we'll have to put the word probably in there.
Because I thought he was definitely the best player.
Well, you think even
I
you think every game of the season you think he's the best player on the pitch.
I honestly don't. But he was on Saturday. Now that doesn't really matter because it is only Gateshead. It doesn't. You know what I mean? It's not really.
I thought it was probably Gateshead players that played better. But
I thought
when you look at our players, then
yeah.
But Bar maybe, and again it's over a shorter time. But second half when some of the younger lads came on, they stepped up and
I
they had
yeah,
good
oh,
games.
they did, yeah, absolutely
So-
right. Yeah. I thought there was a times he actually was really taking the piss, like, to be quite honest, at times I thought, which was funny, like. But no, like it's just mad, isn't it? Like how, I mean, to be lower than Sean Longstaff, goodness me, he was absolutely terrible. Like
wasn't great.
terrible.
Longstaff was poor.
He was. Oh, he really was. Now that doesn't mean that like I don't want him to start the first game of the season. That's just a pre-season friendly against Gateshead. It doesn't really matter, right? But he was horrendous. Now I'm telling you now, if Max had played like that, goodness Lord, can you imagine the reaction if he had played like that? But you've got a guy who's got assists, then he set up 3 players and scored a goal. Still shy, get him out. It's mental. That I'm sorry. That is. Does that not sound mental when you even say it out loud? Does that not actually sound mental?
You're just focusing on the plus points there, though.
I know who's mental, it ain't me.
We're not going to focus on it because I think we spend way too long debating Maxi on this channel and podcast, and Bessie gets very bored when we're doing it.
I've been quite glad of the rest.
But if it wasn't for me, like there wouldn't be. There would just. You said, I'll be just on the. I get a mood.
I'm not with Tanwood.
I feel it would just go down that route. Like
What is shite?
I've never said selling.
fuck off.
Yet.
I've said loads, I think.
No, I know. I'm just joking, really. I'm just joking.
But as the game went on, Newcastle, let's go through the goals. We conceded 2 honking goals. Longstaff gets caught in possession for the first one. It's at high press again. And he just hasn't got a clue of his surroundings.
Yeah.
Which is worrying at any game that you're playing.
Especially for a local lad as well, Tony Gates.
I like that one.
Elephant at the time.
Because he's from north. Because he's from the north of the time.
I still say it, right, and I mean this as respectfully as I can, right. Longstaff getting the ball in them kind of areas and stuff. That's always something that worries us. It is. That's why you look at other players and go, could he be better than that? Now I know everyone goes, we're not the same team without him. Everyone bangs this drum a lot, and he works really hard, and he's in between the lines, blah blah blah. But the problem with him is he will get caught in possession in them areas. He just will, because he's not that good on the ball. He's just not. Like, and the first goal was honking. The second goal was absolutely.
Was the second one Dan Burn?
Horrendous, that goal. Horrific. Now, again, it doesn't matter. I won't be looking 40 games down the line going, remember that Gateshead goal? I won't, absolutely not. But it was bad, though. It was really bad, considering the levels of difference of class here and teams. We should, whether they've had 1 day's training, whether they've had 5 minutes, we shouldn't be doing that mistake.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be. But we did, and it is what it is.
So we go at half time 2-0 down to Gateshead. And I think on last week's, use mocking Sunderland for losing the game. They didn't lose the game against Gateshead. They actually won that one. They did. Yeah,
they
came back.
Yeah,
came back. And I thought it was heading in that direction. I thought we would have struggled to get back into that game second half, because I thought our best players are on the field now. We can't change much in regards to personnel.
No, because even watching it, you just knew they had another 3 gears to go up if they needed to.
Yeah, I get that.
It was just very, and the goals completely summed it up. It was just very sloppy.
I'll tell you what was funny, right? So you mentioned obviously Sunderland were getting beat off them. So I was texting my mates, right, and they were going, "Hey, you seen that? Sunderland's getting beat off Gateshead, rah rah, hey."
Just hilarious.
Yeah. And then when we were, I said, and they were like, but we've only had a day's training, and I was like, the weather's terrible. I was like, lads, come on, like you cannot do that.
The weather was
it was bad.
Shocking,
it was bad for them as well. It was the same, believe it or not. But anyway,
but it's the same. It's the same thing. It's hilarious when your rivals are on the end of something like that. But then
Liverpool.
A week later,
Liverpool didn't play Gateshead.
Is this your role tonight? Is it?
Yes. It's all I've got in this.
But second half comes and obviously we'll go out and win 3-2. And the goals, first of all, it is Maxi set up Anderson. No. Yeah, Maxi sets up Anderson. Second goal, Anderson sets up Maxi. Yeah. And the third one is a fantastic
pass from Lewis.
The finish as well. The finish, it's a
good.
First time on the left foot. Like, that's a lovely. I know he's got like the freedom of Gateshead to put it away, but still. It's a great goal, that.
He's just been up the Civic Centre tonight to getting his medal and all that on.
Freedom of Gateshead, yeah.
That's why the roads were closed.
That's that why.
He's going to get big key in that.
Do you get a big key?
Oh, that's only 21,
like, not like in drugs or anything.
Remember him the key of the door now?
Yeah.
Do you actually get a key?
I don't know.
It's a ceremonial one.
You're out to graze your sheep on the.
What does it actually mean? I know we're going off, but what does it actually mean when you get key to the city?
Any keys, I
You
think,
can,
or something
well,
else.
he is right. If you get it's the freedom of the city over in Newcastle, isn't it? And you can graze your cattle on the town moor. That's where Bestie was going with these sheep.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, that's
The
it,
town
yeah.
was new. Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's what I say, aye.
So those cattle, it's somebody who's got freedom in the city.
No, it's a farmer, that.
What the fuck? So you get the same
like,
perks of a farmer.
It goes back to
No, surely you get something else. Surely it's not just that.
You do. You get like a certificate.
You're just going to make things up.
You
Just
do.
gonna make
You get a
things up.
certificate.
Are you researching this?
You get
Jesse?
I'm not gonna,
you get your name on a plaque in the civic centre.
right. So free
Badge to show on your underpants and that.
Okay, it's not a city. It's been awarded
It's a
to
town.
such Jonathan Edwards, Brendan Foster,
I don't care who's got it. I want to know what they get.
They're both
Mike
for,
Neville,
for athletics,
Bob Moncur,
TV,
John Cheers Einstein,
football.
John Hall,
Bob Moncur lives in Gateshead.
Right, tell us what they get.
Alan Smith, Stevie Miller, Jill Halfpenny, David Putnam, Anthony Sargent. Something to do with the arm head now. I don't know. One of the oldest traditional ceremonies still in existence
Jill,
today is the granting of freedom of the borough of Gateshead. Honour dates back to the laws of ancient Rome. Back then, it was a capital offence for legions to enter the city in formation or with weapons without permission. Today, martial freedom of the city is a ceremonial honour. So it's
so just like
you don't you
get this, but you don't get anything.
You don't get like
You come and go as you please.
That's I mean, apart from the traffic tonight, that's pretty much a case anyway. Isn't it? I can do that. I've got freedom of Gateshead.
All right, okay. Yeah. Nothing then.
Being awarded the freedom of a city means you can graze your sheep in public places and draw your sword when you like.
Draw your sword away.
So just give them a biro and a bit of paper.
Or does it? It's a Bobby Robson has made a Freedom of Durham. Owen Amos explores the history of honorary freedom.
Right, done. Right, so Mark, we have Glasgow Rangers coming up tomorrow night.
Yep.
You are making the trip. Darryl is taking you.
Yes,
Not on a
yeah.
date, but you and yourself.
Personal
and Darryl.
driver.
Chauffeur, I think they're called. Personal drivers.
Makes it sound very exclusive, that doesn't it?
Are you excited?
I might sit in the back.
Excited?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
8,000 going?
Yeah, I think that'll be nice, won't it? Trip up the road, the famous Ibrox Stadium, 8,000 fans there.
Have you been before Ibrox?
Not to watch us play, but I've been to a Rangers game. So yeah, that's I'm looking forward to it because it's, as you say,
Intimidating spot, like
two big clubs. I think, given the fact that it's a testimonial, it'll hopefully give it a bit more of an edge to it than just a friendly.
Is Alan McGregor?
Yeah.
I could work for the worst of that in terms of the edge. If it's a testimonial, it can be just a pantomime.
The only time I've played there a couple of times in the 90s, I was there in 93 for Ali McCoy's testimonial, and it was just there'd been loads of bother a week or two prior to that. We might not remember, but the Rangers wasn't. It was the Intercities, the hooligan firm. The Rangers played Sunderland a few weeks beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
It was like lads got their faces slashed open and stuff like that. So my dad took me on the bus. I think we went from the Cyprus and Shields. And it was like, I had that in my thing. Well, this could be mighty, this. But it was great. It was a really nice time. I was just one of those bizarre. I remember we were in the lower tier behind one of the goals, and I'm turning around looking at people swapping scarves and stuff like that. Like, and it was a nice atmosphere. So hopefully it'll be that kind of afternoon, evening.
It's a pre-season testimonial. There's not going to be any bother. The only reason there's going to be bother is people are being arseholes, as usual.
So wind your neck in, Mark.
Don't start, Mark. Don't start. Degger, what sort of lineup are you expecting? Stronger than Gateshead game?
Possibly, but not by much though. I think maybe 2 or 3 more, maybe.
As in international lads?
Yes,
Yeah. So.
I'm expecting that. Like
Because I just feel that with it being a testimonial, I actually feel how we'll be thinking this is even more of like a run out. Like,
yeah,
you're not
going to be more
anyone
competitive.
Flying in someone, I don't think it'll be fine. So I think you might get a couple more.
It's a good standard of opposition as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Rangers
absolutely.
side,
Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
Plus, they're not far off the start of their season, so they're going to want to have a good run out.
Things we've got like 100 games to play before the season starts, haven't we? Well,
Yeah.
Tour of America.
We've got this one go on
Seller
Tour
Cup,
America, and then
sponsored by
It's a
Mulder
very
Air.
it is a packed pre-season. Like.
Big style like that.
It's really busy. It is busy. And when is it? The next week, the lads go off to.
next weekend. Well, they literally fly straight after this game. Apparently,
Do they?
fly straight over there.
So they're heading straight to the States. Then they're playing 2 or 3 games over there.
3.
We've got Villa on Sunday, Chelsea next Wednesday, and Brighton on Friday.
Then on the back of that, they come back for that first weekend in August for the Cellar Cup.
In Villarreal, yeah. First weekend in August.
So another 2
That's a
games
really
there.
tough pre-season.
So
That
still like 6 games before the Villa
Really
game. That's
tough.
only
That's
3 weeks away.
seven games pre-season.
you could lose them all. No, but it's a tough pre-season, though, isn't it? You know, like, and I love that. Me personally, having more competitive games, I do prefer that than like. No offense to Gates, I don't understand why that game happens, but I mean, like playing, like
Can you remember in the early 90s we did a tour of Germany and we played against, the Netherlands. We played against teams like pub teams.
Yeah.
We beat them like 9-10.
I don't get
like
I don't understand what you get
but
from that.
this Gateshead, Rangers, Villa, Chelsea, Brighton, Fiorentina, Villarreal, they are all
Decent.
We played
Yeah.
Chelsea, West Ham, and
Wolves in the Chinese one.
Oh, because that was when
the
Bruce
penalty-
got announced.
Not Birmingham. Asia Cup.
Was it not Wolves that were played?
And that was Birmingham and Chelsea.
Was it?
Yeah.
Is that the one where we had the Mike Ashley Asian Sports Direct?
yes.
Oh, sorry, I thought you
that
meant
one.
one where Jennings missed the penalty.
No,
Chelsea.
the one a
Because
few years back.
Bruce was announced, wasn't he, midway
Yeah,
through, and then he was
he
in the
turned
stands.
up,
Yeah,
with his ill-fitting training gear.
Yeah.
It's his anniversary today.
Wedding.
Of what?
No, I've come in here.
It was the day after.
Oh, is it really?
It was the day
Yeah.
after my eldest was
4
born.
years, isn't it?
The day
4
after.
years today.
Who would have thought
Yeah, me. What a dark
Four-
day.
if we were sat back there 4 years ago, sat around, would have been here? No, would have been in the pub.
Yeah, actually.
Would have been in the pub doing this, thinking that we would be a Champions League outfit now.
Not a chance.
Steve Bruce, he turned it around, didn't he?
We'll go with the Champions League. I think.
We'll
one
definitely
of,
be somewhere beginning with champion.
one of the other things I wanted to mention, I know we're a bit all over the place there, is Decker, I wanted your thoughts on the green shirt now that you've seen the players wearing it.
Oh, yeah. Hasn't changed at all. It's absolutely honking.
Really?
Honking. Aye.
Have you seen it in real life?
Yeah,
When
touched
it's
it,
this?
wore it, done everything with it. Made love to it.
I really like it. Like
No,
after
I
seeing
like
it in the
It's
flesh.
like shit,
But bizarrely, I
Nothing
didn't like it at the weekend.
All right.
Like seeing it from a distance is like a bit different. You don't see the pattern as much and stuff.
I thought when it was half
It's probably a good thing. I probably would have liked it.
half time in the when I put the graphic,
I know what they
I thought like a training kit a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought it was because of the white shorts or what, like, but yeah, strange.
Honestly, it does nothing for me. Like,
I think it's very nice.
The sponsor doesn't stand out at all either from a distance.
Roll the numbers because it's black.
Lost,
So the
you lose
numbers
it.
on the back, you can't really make out so much.
yeah, I think it would probably be better if it was white, personally. But
Yeah, the numbers.
I think it would be better if it
But
was.
the entire kit.
Yes, actually, yes, it would definitely be better. No, but even if the seller was in white in
Yeah.
the numbers, I get what you mean by
Yeah.
standing out. You know, it's.
It's dark green, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, it was raining, so that made it.
I thought Maxi looked lush in it, like, but I don't like the shirt though.
The Dan Whitten says straight away, black shorts would improve it.
Oh, I don't know. Like I
What
think
colour
the
are
white
they?
ones were nice.
They are
Yeah.
white shorts with a kit.
I think so, yeah.
That's unusual with the beans with having dark features.
White.
It did make it easier to see, like with the white shorts.
It'll be the flip. Where last season we had it with the blue one where you could have the
Yeah, with the gold.
blue shorts or the gold
The
shorts.
gold ones were awful.
I don't agree.
It'll be a choice where it's going to be black or white shorts with this one. But I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Really
like
do.
it.
I'm happy for you, lads.
We should be seeing the third kit next week, maybe. Do you think?
Maybe it's tomorrow.
Give it its debut.
Uh,
No, because they're going to play in blue, obviously, aren't they?
That doesn't matter. Oh, because it's going to be blue, isn't that? Our third kid, so yeah, that's right.
Apparently, allegedly.
do
Oh,
you
is it
think
meant to
we'll
be
be
blue?
wearing our unreleased third kit tomorrow?
No, I'm saying. No,
No,
he
that's
was
me.
saying they
Oh.
were. I'm saying no, they won't because it'll
Be home tomorrow
because they'll be
It'll
playing
be
in blue.
Oh, right, okay. It'll be a home kit. Won't it be black and white tomorrow? I thought
yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
100%.
But they could debut it.
Cellar Cup.
Cellar
We'll
Cup.
debut a Cellar Cup weekend.
Put it
We'll
on
have
sale then.
sale. Foot traffic coming through the door.
Yep.
100%.
Makes sense.
Release it week on Friday.
Yeah. When they're in the States, do you reckon they'll do like any sort of pop-up stores and things like that? Because I remember we were talking about this in that cup that we went to, that every other club had some sort of pop-up store. And we
I remember
didn't.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It looked
Well,
amazing, the other ones that they had. We
Wolves
just
were
didn't have
definitely-
anything.
It was Wolves I
Yeah.
kept seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Yeah.
well, it's a Premier League event, isn't it? And they normally have like the tour and thing on it where they have like all the stuff on before it and all that kind of thing. So I think you'd probably expect to see things popping up and being able to buy the shirts and kits and stuff like that.
We're much more switched on, aren't we, as a whole club in that regard? You know, I think every opportunity we've got to throw it down someone's throat will be there. Like,
Especially
So,
now that with Sponsors Cup has got a sponsor themselves,
Yeah.
which is Fly Malaysia? Or just
Malta.
Malta.
Malta,
it is.
Malta it is.
But we still don't have. We haven't replaced the Sports Direct banners that came down at St James's. Like behind me is still the grey wall, is in.
You might see that, but perhaps now with Salah, possibly you might go back and it might be maybe not. But
like, there hasn't been a great.
Well, it's now in
the training kit. There hasn't been.
Yeah, obviously we've seen pictures of the corner with the standing seats in there now, and there's still nothing in around there.
Which I thought that'd be the first thing. I would assumed when they took the Sports Direct stuff down that it was in order to kind of facilitate the replacement and all that, but it just didn't.
Yeah, even all like obviously the barrier kind of ones.
Yeah,
they've still just got plain. Yeah,
there was a lot of empty space there. But sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier. If anybody does have any questions, send them our way, and we'll go through as many as possible. And just while I've got you as well, like the video, that'll help us out as well. Because we mentioned strips, has anybody ordered through the club website this season?
No.
For sure. No. Because it seems like we still have the same issues with Castor that we've had for the last 2 seasons, where people have ordered their shirts, get an email straight away saying it's going to be a delay in delivery. And Scott from our channel got the email the other day saying that his shirt had been returned to the sender as well.
I think they did. I think when you went onto the website straight away, it did say that deliveries would take 2 to 3 weeks. So they were already telling you before you place you.
You get to the email saying, "Oh, by the way, it's arrived at the depot." Then we sent it back.
He is overseas, though, isn't he?
It doesn't matter where he is.
Why
does that matter? Why does that matter?
Brexit.
No way.
It is. It's Brexit. 100%. Brexit, Mark? Of course, I voted in Brexit.
Did you vote?
Not for Brexit.
Oh, okay.
You're trying to lynch him there.
Yeah, I was about to.
Absolutely not.
Most old lads did, though, didn't they? So.
Yeah. Did you?
Racists.
Yeah, well, we've got one. But no, it's annoying, I think, to hear that's still going on, isn't it? Yeah, because last year was such a problematic for people ordering and frustrations, and that's before you get about the quality. But I mean, I've now 5, 6 people, that I know that have the Champions League badge fell off. I haven't even watched it yet, man.
I've seen loads of that on social
media.
That's
bad crap, like.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
Apparently, though,
that's a club store,
£80, No, apparently it's nothing to do with the club. It's the actual manufacturers of the Champions League badges, because they came out and put out a statement. This is true fact.
Is this why they were falling? What was I watching the other day?
They were coming off
the European
final. It's the actual
the
shirts that it's designed to go on the pro shirts, apparently, because the material is slightly different. So the adhesive that's used on them works on that material of a pro shirt, but not on the replica ones. So that's why you're having so many issues, because it's not just Newcastle that are having the issues. So it was the manufacturers of those badges came out and said that there was an issue with them.
the championship, the Euro Championships, the under 23s, like Gordon was playing, was Italy in the final? Yeah. England, Italy. Spain. Sorry.
Yeah.
All the Spanish ones, because they had like the little thing underneath it. You know how you've got the Champions League, then there's the foundation thing. Yeah. They had something similar, and every single player was ripping them off because they were just flapping around. So they're ripping them off.
But if you look how thick they are compared to like the normal kind of sponsors and stuff like that, even the Premier League badges. Get a bit of Wonder Web on there.
Yeah. Mike Focus says that he ordered the home shirt on the day of release. It arrived last Thursday.
God on me.
That's
horrific.
Weeks.
Mine was from China in 2.5 weeks quicker than that. China.
Mike lives in Devon, though. That's fair old distance as well.
Brexit. Goes out of France.
That's awful, that, like. Just awful.
Do you think it'll ever change next season when we get rid of them?
No, but well, of course, if it's somebody different.
You'd think that, like, because they've got a lot of clubs now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like, they're growing every season. You'd think they'd invest a bit more in the...
quite a bit, and there's a lot of players out that are personalised by customers.
Rugby, the cricket,
cricket,
Formula One.
Formula One.
Loads of
no, even either Feyenoord or...
Feyenoord,
yeah. I was going to say either PSV or Feyenoord.
It's not about delivery, this, but what's your thoughts on the training gear that you've seen on the photographs and stuff like that?
I'm not that impressed by it. It just looked rubbish, I think, so far. But then there'll be a new one along in a couple of weeks. So
I'm very disappointed, personally. Yeah.
You know what it is? I don't like the flag one. The one that looks like a flag on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
They've got it in 3 different colours. I'm not a fan of it.
I'm not really a fan of any of it. I don't like the Illuminous badge going on. Honestly, I don't like any of it.
The black ones for the staff, isn't it? The bluish ones for the players. That's what.
Yeah, the one Eddie's been wearing is quite nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Similar to this one, to be fair. Like,
nope.
but
Sorry, carry on.
It's just not really much to it, is there? Really? It's
Nah.
not very like maybe.
I thought last year's was a bit hit.
I think I said before we went live, I said I joked in about less is more. So I don't know what we're talking about, but I said that in this case, it's not the case. Like it's they just look too plain. And I'm normally a fan of just playing things with just the badge on. Looks quite smart, but I just feel it looks really naff. Like, and I think as well, it doesn't help by the price as well. Like, I went online just randomly. I didn't have a look, and one of the shirts like 55 quid, and I'm like, you're joking.
Digger's daily routine.
I just just either going in the store every day or just to get annoyed. By the way, can I say when I go in there, or go online and go, you're joking. You know what I mean? I don't know. Listen, it doesn't matter if it was Castro, Adidas, Nike, whoever, right? At the end of the season, of course, it would be cheaper. But you just know, you look at a shirt and I go, that'll be £15 in a few months.
Yeah.
You just know it's going to be. So, yeah, it's just frustrating.
The blue one never got reduced much, did it?
It did. It went through. It
40
dropped down
or
to
something like that?
35, but it didn't drop any lower. When the home one went to 20 quid the day that we were in there, wasn't it? Was that the home one?
home
That's
one.
20 something.
The white one got
The white one
reduced
early
early on.
Yeah, sports washed eye.
Which
So
is
that
strange
was-
because I thought that was a nice shirt.
Yeah,
Oh, it was.
the blue one was the only one I didn't get last season. It
Yeah.
was because of that, because they didn't drop the price
That was a
massively.
lovely shirt.
That was
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it
It
was
was
nice.
up 30, 35, I think.
Very nice.
Still yet to find out what those yellow marks mean on the sleeves, because it was something to do with
Wet paint, do not touch.
Newcastle, wasn't it? That's
I
how it
don't
was
know.
released. I was
It was
swearing
the
to Newcastle.
we did know, man.
We didn't.
Was
Like
the
sound waves or something.
No, that was the season before, man. That was the season before.
Was it?
The roof of the
Yeah.
that was the season before.
Which one? The blue one? The crisscrossy thing on it.
Yes.
No, that was
No.
the light blue one.
The light blue one. The
That
season
was-
before that. Sorry,
That
So
was
2
the
seasons
Milburn
ago.
and Lisa's roof.
Yeah, the cast one.
2 seasons ago.
That's what I mean, yeah.
That one was the Lisa's and Milburn roof.
Mhm.
The
So what was last
blue
season's?
one with the lines was the East Stand.
Was
The
that what it was supposed
you
to
know
be?
the stripes in it.
That was
Yeah.
bollocks.
Last season's with the sleeves, is that right?
Aye,
Yeah,
the blue and
gold
gold.
That's right. Right, let's go through some questions. The first one, actually, we've got a £2 donation from Heatwave. Thank you very
Thanks.
much. And first question is from, let's see, Fish and Rods. It says, tell you something, mind. Anyone get the feeling these four are trying to avoid the smelly fish challenge?
Aye.
So,
Aye.
yes, they are. There was a text sent this morning about when we were going to do this challenge.
I didn't get that.
Bestie replied saying, good luck, lads. All the best, lads. Something along the lines. But to be fair, Bestie, I've watched this episode back. Bestie from the off says he is not doing it.
I think from the moment you suggested
As did I.
No. I managed to persuade
You
both.
didn't know. Whoa,
Have used it.
him. He was. Oh, I need bother. I'll do it straight away.
He started straight away.
Did I say straight away?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Then,
And I was like, whoa.
yeah,
I
but
was young and
Mark,
immature then.
you came to the same way of thinking as well.
I'm not sure. Like,
So
I'll have to watch it back
we are hoping to do this. And when do you go on holiday?
tomorrow.
I
For
go
a
on
month.
4th of August, I'm away. Like.
4th of August. You're the first week in August as well.
No,
aren't
I'm
you?
the day after.
First week of August. Same thing. It needs to be next week, lads.
I'm washing my hair.
It's going to be next week. So
What we're going to do? Just what we're going to do again?
You
try
have got
and
to eat.
try and attempt to
Eat
eat
it.
Try to attempt it. I'm not expecting you to eat it, but we're going to try to.
You've got to eat it.
So
This is
people
all your fault.
don't know that it's a Scandinavian dish, isn't it?
Icelandic, I
It's-
think.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
It's not Swedish.
I think it's further north.
All right, okay.
They use ice.
I think it's ice.
Somewhere
ice
over there. There's this smelly fish challenge where it's fermented fish, and there's a challenge going around where people try and eat it.
No, absolutely
so
not.
about a month and a half back, somebody mentioned that we should do it, and I said, right, if we get this amount of members in the next 10, 15 minutes, we'll do it. Okay, and it happened. So the fish
Thanks.
is in Wallace's fridge waiting.
Are you doing it?
Why? I? Do you think I could change it into a Mark versus Decker? Like if you
Nope.
I'll try.
Because I can't lose them.
I've said we were going to. We've got to try. So.
we'll do it. So I've got the table ready. Okay, obviously we will have to do it outside. So yeah, that'll be recorded in the next week, and that video it will be members only for a long time. That will not be going straight out like we do with a lot of videos. That will be members only for a good couple of weeks. So sign up, become a member. It is just $2.99 a month to do that. Right, Couple of more questions. This one is from Colby. He says, lads,
Hello, Mark.
thoughts on the probability of away tickets, including an allocation spade
Loves
for
a
a
ticket
bad.
question,
He
Mark,
does
doesn't
he
he?
fucking every single time.
He's been making Excel spreadsheets a lot in the last week, that kid.
So in regards to ticketing, and this is a question which we tend to avoid, but I think now is about the time that we'll answer this one. Away ticketing, it has always been loyalty point system for a hell of a long time now, which basically you get a ticket for an away game, you get a point. Okay. A lot of people, I'm trying to word this as best I can, because people get offended no matter what I say, right? There's a lot of people who have a hell of a lot of points, which they have accumulated by going to the away games, but also buying the ticket to sell on. I've done it. You've probably done it. Everybody's
Not
done
guilty.
it. Allegedly. Everybody's done it. So now that Newcastle is successful, it's kind of turned into a bit of a closed shop, where if you want to get a ticket for an away game, if you don't have the points to hit that target before they go on release to you, you then have to go through somebody else who has higher points, who isn't planning on attending to go to that game, which means you're topping their points up, not your own. Can that be changed, or is this the fairest way to do it?
I mean, in that it's the method that they've used for as long as they have. I think it by default becomes the fairest way to do it.
Mhm.
I think that it could be anything that you do to improve, in inverted commas, makes it unfair on top. So I've seen people say you could have like an expiry on the points. So a lot of the points that have been acquired have been done many, many years ago by people who might not have been in a away game since.
Yeah.
But they've got the points in the bank. So if you want to go to Old Trafford, then go, I'll go to Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Or Anfield or whatever. European away games
Pick and choose the games on.
might if European away games end up using loyalty point system, obviously Wembley didn't really, did it? Then
It did.
it did and didn't.
Did for the
It was a
first
bit of
three
both.
pots,
It was
yeah.
a bit of both. But then it's a shame. It's a nice problem that demand is at the minute outstripping. Sorry, demand
is outstripping supply. Yeah.
which is obviously means that we're doing well, home and away. It does make us. A criticism of the current process that I've seen that I kind of agree with is that it doesn't really allow younger fans who, when they turn 18 to go, but then a lot of young fans do go. When you go away, it's a far younger.
What I was going to say.
It's a much younger kind of support.
It's a very young crowd that you see,
but
which
are they getting the points
makes
themselves,
you
or
think
have they got them off their dads
how
or
they
mates
got that
or-
ticket
yeah.
now.
So it's something that there's never ever going to be, because there's so many thousand people after a few thousand fewer tickets. There's never going to be a fair way to do it. Expiry is one thing I've seen. I've seen people talk about giving a certain amount up to ballot. So it drops to so many loyalty points, then beneath that it goes to ballot.
And you've got to think there's already a huge percentage which goes to like the corporate and players as well.
Yeah.
Which is going to be even more popular now, which is going to take away from
there's not
actual fans.
I mean, take me from corporate right across the board. That's not just our problem. That's right across. Look at that final West Ham run in the week. I mean, look at how many corporate tickets with something like 25 West Ham fans. I'm exaggerating, but it's the corporate thing's a massive problem, I think, right through football. I mean, not just in attendance, in everything, but that's a different podcast altogether. So I've not got the answers. I think you can see pros and cons to each. Like I think the current system does reward people who've gone away. I mean, I've got I think 15 loyalty points, so it never or very rarely now comes down to what I've got.
You
kind of accept that.
I bet you've been to a lot more than 15 though.
Yeah, I have. But that's by the by. That's kind of I knew what when I got a ticket off somebody else, I knew I wasn't going to get a loyalty point for it, so I can't complain now.
Yeah, of course.
About that, every method, every kind of alternative is fair and unfair. I don't think
it's going to upset some.
Yeah. And someone who's legitimately upset as well.
So sorry, can you just? What is the?
This topic comes up all the time now, and now that the club are more popular,
but it only comes up with the people that can't get tickets.
Yeah, of course.
That's why it's an issue, and it's exactly as Bestie says. The reason is, and as Mark's figures have shown, that there's there's been opportunities, albeit not a huge amount, for people that don't have a whole lot of points to be able to have bought tickets in the last season. I think, if I remember his figures, I think there was 3 that went down to. I mean, Rangers has been on 1 point for weeks and weeks, so there was an opportunity there. Yeah, you're not going to get many away games where you're going to be able to get on 2 points, but
What's the first one in 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah, there's, go back 18 months, you'd never struggle to get a ticket for an away game. Most of them drop down to 0 points, but we're now a victim of success, and it's now becoming an issue because
I think the issue is that previous, and I'll speak from personal situations, that if I wanted a ticket to a away game, I've had my season ticket for X amount of years, but for fear of missing out, I would go to somebody else knowing that they could get me a ticket when they first went on sale. The first ask, they could get me a ticket. So, like I said, if you're missing out, I say, "Oh, but you sorted me ticket out."
Yep, I've done exactly the same. I've done the same.
I'll get it for you. Then, when it drops down to 0, I'm not going to get a ticket. I'm not going to get another one, am I? Like, financial aspect of it and things like that. It's you're not going to get another.
Yeah,
one.
Unless maybe someone
buys it off me. Then that's your vicious cycle, and that cycle never stops. Yeah. The only suggestions which I've seen are things like a rolling 5 years and things like that, where if you're not using it, it drops off. Which
it still isn't going to fix the problem though, because the people that have got the points are still going to be the ones that can buy the tickets.
It doesn't fix the problem, but the people that have got these points now, that they shouldn't have an issue with that either, because if they're going to the game still, it's still rolling over for them.
But I think if someone's got, like, let's hypothetically number out this guy 120 loyalty points, if they know that they went to 15 away games in 2005, and this season it would drop off, they're just going to go, right, I'll buy them and sell them on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's going to be the same
cycle. It's not going to make any difference. The only way that it can make a difference, and this was, again, I was there last week at the chat talking about the tickets and stuff like that. And there was loads of quiet.
I know you could have said
that. I was asked to.
9:15 now.
Who asked you?
We asked you to keep this a maximum.
And why did you not tell me?
It's private.
All right, I just thought we shared everything.
No, we were told not to speak about it because it was to be confidential. I can't now. It's happened. It's
next time.
It's been done.
Next time I get some news, right? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you too. Right? I'll tell you too, and I'm not fucking tell him. Okay, carry on.
Wouldn't know
now that you're allowed.
So.
Thanks.
The chat around like the tickets and stuff like that, there was lots of different discussion, but the main question, there was 3 questions that you were asked, and the focus first question was, how can we introduce new fans to away tickets? And they also talked about international fans in there as well, which set some flares off at that point around that. Is the current ticketing process and loyalty points fair? Overwhelmingly, it was, the view was that yes, loyalty points are fair because loyalty is loyalty. If you've put the miles in, you've gone to the games, you deserve to be rewarded for that. The last point was around, and this was the key one, and this is the only one that will change anything with regards to ticketing situations. The question was, how can you ensure the person that buys the ticket uses the ticket? That is the only way you can fix this situation. It doesn't matter any other conversation that you have around loyalty points, introducing new fans, that if the person that's buying that ticket is not going to that game, yet still gets that point, you're never going to change this situation. Because the same people that have got over 120 points now are always going to have over 120 points.
Yeah.
People that are sitting in that mid to lower number of points will never have the opportunity to increase unless we become unsuccessful again. The football's dross, and then people start dropping out of wanting to go to the games. Now, obviously, we don't want that to happen. We want to be successful, but by being successful, you have other people that want to go to the game. That's what drives the demand. So that's the bit you have to fix.
The thing is, the unsuccessful thing, it might not even be that. I remember when we finished, I think it was 4th or 5th in the Premier League, and they got booed off at full time the last game of the season.
Yeah.
I think Ipswich at home, Wolves at home, maybe. And I didn't go to away games as much then. I'll say as much as I never really go now. But I don't remember there being much conversation about loyalty points, and although again social media wasn't
It's a social media thing, isn't it?
So when it might not be necessarily that we come unsuccessful, it might just be that we'll plateau, because it's been an upward trajectory so far, isn't it? From that game against Leeds, or the takeover, let's say we had a bit of a running formula, beat Leeds away, had that run of games where we ended up finishing 11th in the league, and people are interested. Oh, Newcastle winning games, they're playing good football. It'd be interesting to see if next season we finished 7th or 8th, didn't get to a cup final, didn't get that. If the demand for away tickets is still the same,
It will, because even when we were shit, we were selling out away ends.
we were,
But it was dropping down to
lower
0
loyalty
points,
so
10
it's-
points, whatever.
That's what the whole thing is. It's not that we're not. It's not that we wouldn't sell out. It's that more people might think I can't be asked. That I might find something else to do at the weekend.
The issue which I have though is that you'll see conversations online, and people that we know personally and people that we are friends with denying that this happens, where people sell on their ticket, denying it, saying it doesn't happen as often as what people
Everyone
think.
knows it happens.
It happens a hell of a lot.
It might happen a bit less now because people want to go much
Yeah.
down again.
It
But
happens a
100%. Before 18 months ago, if you wanted an away ticket,
you could
you could get one, no
Yeah.
bother.
Yeah, that's right. So back to what Chris was saying earlier, my only thing would be to try and make them non-transferable, or so that you need an ID. So the purchaser of the ticket is the one. But then, how do you police that?
It's impossible.
Do you use an
Impossible,
NPC?
Because
Well, if you-
Betty down in Everton away is not
No,
going to
no.
check your ID.
But
The simple way is exactly what we're doing with the home tickets, and is it to make them digital.
NPC, so not a barcode, but an NPC. So
Has
you've
to
got
be.
have that-
You have
yeah.
to have the original.
You
Because
just
that's
log
the
in.
thing
What
with
happens if you broke your phone? Sure, you can log in to a different device. Surely.
well,
put
you
it
would
through
have
the box office and
you'd
that's it.
have to then get a paper ticket that you'd have to sign for and be given using ID to prove that it's you are the person that bought the ticket. The season tickets this season, you can't screenshot it. It won't work. It works like your bank card basically on your phone, where you have to scan it and it'll send a signal through like that. So it's not just a QR code or anything like that.
Well, that would work, obviously.
That's the only way. That's the only way.
100%.
Unless you give someone your phone.
I was going to say
Only
that's the
way
only
it
way,
can
yeah.
stop.
Let someone, if someone's got a spare phone.
So
get it
and then
on
that
there.
then at least if you did that, it then opens up alternative opportunities, because we're already seeing with home tickets that if you want to, like if I couldn't go to a game and I would say, yeah, here's my season ticket, you can go to the next game, be no problem. Can't do that now. I can't give you my phone. You can't just go because it's digital. Therefore, that's why they're introducing the transfer of tickets, where I would have to put your supporter number in.
They've got a
So
resale
again,
option
so
as
that
well
they
now.
can track who it's going to. They've got proof of you're the person, you're the named. Again, so that you've got that through. Yes, you can sell it to a random person again, providing they've got an account. So that then leads you into an opportunity that if I buy an away ticket, I can't go. Should I then be able to sell that to somebody that the next person on the list with the next points down, or can I just give that to me mate? Because at the minute, I could go, here's my ticket again. Yeah, I get yourself the
You're
away
still
game.
passing it on.
The
Yeah.
I'm
problem
passing
is-
it on. I'm keeping me point. You're getting it. But if we did that and it was digital and I could transfer it, does that then leave an argument of,
Do
well,
you lose the point?
does the point
Right,
now go to
yeah,
Decker because he's going to the match, which again allows people to build up loyalty
Oh,
points.
there's a cap how many times you can do that.
It does at the minute.
The problem is
You can
that
only transfer 10 tickets a season.
That's what I mean.
Newcastle don't issue the away tickets.
No,
It's also
but
like-
It would need to be right across the board. Like you need to do it like West Brom.
There's
Norwich,
all-
Coventry. They all have to have the same technology.
yeah, there's already just under a dozen clubs in the Premier League that have exactly the same digital ticketing process, which is why Newcastle are moving on to it as well.
It kind of makes sense from that point of view. You've got the problem again, the issue where, particularly with old timers such as yourself, Mark, that might not have a smartphone. I've seen Sunderland, I think, doing it this season. Maybe last season they did it.
Last season, I think.
But I think I've
they used
seen like Red and White, as I've obviously lived in South Shields, you've got a lot of mates, and they kind of say, "Oh yeah, well, you've got old lads who don't want to have a smartphone. Not even old lads. You get some people who just aren't into that kind of thing. So how do they access? How do they gain access if they can't get that? The tap twice and get your
Yeah.
thing up, whatever. So how
There's ways round that.
So there's a comment just to finalize this one. So season ticket holders have always been rewarded. This isn't a new thing. Reward loyalty, which I agree with.
100%.
Reward loyalty to that person, not for that person to then pass on Okay, not for them to gain
Yeah, yeah.
something.
Yeah, that's
which
what I'm saying.
they're
The,
not
the,
receiving.
the loyalty
agree,
points
yeah.
issue isn't the issue.
ID.
It's what
non-transferable
happens
tickets.
with the tickets once they're bought. That is the issue.
I agree. Anything that you want to add? Not about ticketing, because we could go on all day, but there's no right situation. There's no correct answer for it.
Well, there is an answer for it, but it's hard to get to that right answer. The answer is if you're going to buy a ticket, go out the game.
Yeah.
You can't just buy one to pass it on. That's the answer, right?
Theoretically, and I said about tickets, could you get to a point because people don't like the balloting thing because, well, you know, and fair enough, people who've been going for like people who've got 120 points, they should be rewarded for they've been going to like
100%.
They've seen some
But
dreadful
that's the thing.
Yes.
The people that have got that amount of points, the core of them, you will see at every single away game,
people say
without doubt.
It's true. The lads are Mark's one, Mark.
100%.
You know that is the case, but then there is still a percentage of people that do just buy it to pass on.
So
but you're probably in a position where now they don't want to pass them on because they want to go themselves.
With the ballot thing, the idea is it just something that's come to your head. It might be horseshit. Like, so tell us if it is. Could you not have it so you're guaranteed a chance to get a ticket. So you've got 100 loyalty points. Like they do now, it goes down 85, 70, whatever.
Yep.
And then the ballot could be for people from 20 loyalty points or fewer, or 30 or fewer.
It's not getting that low. It's not getting that
So
low.
are you then saying do like 50 to 0 all in the same hat to give people more chance?
Right. Yeah.
Consider yourself.
Maybe it's not exactly, yeah, but that kind of thing.
I see what you're saying. That's a good point.
Consider yourself. You're sitting on 49 loyalty points. Decker sat on 0. Why should he get an away ticket before you?
Well, people got to Wembley before me that didn't go to any game.
It has to.
It's just one of those things.
In order to invite new fans or international fans, the bracket has to move somewhere.
We haven't even touched on season ticket holders not getting memberships this season either. So we talk about reward and loyalty. Them season ticket holders that don't go away games have been well and truly screwed over.
Even though we're still paying for it.
That is shit. Like, did you want to talk about something else other than tickets?
Anything else?
So Eddie Howe's frustrations. Do we feel them as frustrations? I did personally. I did. I felt for the first time. I seen them more as just rather than his normal red tape of like, we'll have to be clever, and he says that every time.
Yeah,
I actually physically felt he was frustrated. Like, now is he frustrated with the situation? Probably is actually, but also he's maybe frustrated at the same questions. Obviously, of course, you know, he's going to get asked this every single time he's in front of a mic, right? Who are you going to sign? What's going on? Who's going? So maybe it was a frustration of that as well. But I did honestly sense frustration for the first time of like, yeah, it's pretty shit actually. That's what I felt. He'll
never come out with something like that, like a question, like a, where there's maybe like a it could go one of two ways. He'll always straight back his answer and like play it straight down the middle. Whereas that's the first time I've kind of heard him voice a real opinion on it.
Yeah, I agree.
And like I said, I don't think he's like frustrated with the owner because this, people are trying to spin it in different ways. Oh, well, he's annoyed with the ownership; they're not spending the money. He's annoyed with FFP, which of course he will be. He's frustrated that they're not getting the deals done. We don't know what the exact reasons are, but there was definitely an element of frustration there in his answer for him to. So. From the way I'm looking at it, and you're obviously the same as how he answered the question.
Yeah, exactly. Everything Mark said there, I agree with that. No, I do. I feel maybe what he might be thinking a little bit is like, I've really punched above the weight here. Like, I've finished top 4, man. Like, it's way ahead of schedule, and I'm not saying he was expecting this, absolute lorry truck of money to pull up at his drive, but like. Maybe just more to have happened, maybe by now.
I don't think he said the same thing all the time, though.
No, well, that's why I was careful to reference, and I do honestly mean that. As I agree that a lot of the times he has said the same thing about FFP, and it's hard for us, it's tough for us. We've got to be clever. We've got to blah blah blah. I just honestly felt that this time away he answered was with us.
It was different.
It was different.
It could. Do you know what it is? And just to be a devil's advocate, it could be the point where. It works in our favour that as well. For other clubs, I think, Newcastle got this amount of money to spend. It could work in that favour as well. But if your managers keep on saying, we can't physically do, we can't spend that money.
Yeah.
I also want to reference, he's not frustrated in the sense of like, I'm going to walk out. I am not saying that. I'm just saying that I just seen a sense of frustration. And to be fair, I think, it's only human to be frustrated, right? There's no problem. If he is frustrated, that's absolutely fine. Like, I mean, there's no...
managers
I don't
always
want
talk
it to be
about-
sitting there going like, oh, it's amazing, it's unbelievable.
Managers always talk about players want to be frustrated that they've been substituted, don't they?
Aye,
I want them to play, but
Yeah.
it'll be the same thing. Eddie Howe wants to be a success in Newcastle.
of course he
wants
does,
to-
yeah. Because he'll know that the sort of the difficulties that may be ahead next season. He'll want the best possible squad he can possibly have. So if he is frustrated, that's fine.
Yeah,
no,
100%.
of course,
I'm not concerned
absolutely,
about
100%. We will. We definitely will.
I think it's going to be a hard season next. I'm not as in like fighting relegation. I've got to hope not fighting relegation, but I think it's going to be like we're not. Well, I'd be surprised if we spent most of the season in the top 4 next year. We're certainly not like a guaranteed. Now that we haven't made it, you know, we're not like a Champions League. That's it. We're sorted. Now we've got to be realistic and say like
We're not resident there, like.
No. I think we all said at points last season that we're kind of punched above our weight a bit.
Yeah.
As a club, as a playing staff, whatever. So
I don't know.
there's a long way to go before we can say like, well, what not qualifying for the Champions League would be a failure.
I think
nowhere near that point yet.
I look at for example, I'm looking at Villa and like they
had a good summer.
They're really having a good summer, like, and they're spending a lot of money and
But you can argue Villa was punching above the weight as well last season.
Oh, they were. Well, they finished 5th. They were. I know. You know, they've got a good manager there, and they're strengthening. It was 5th, wasn't it? Or 6th?
6th, I think.
6. Sorry, apologise. Maybe 6. Oh, Spurs was
Liverpool.
Well, whatever. They were 6, somewhere around there, right? But then we've got European football to consider.
They finished
as well.
really well last season.
But they did very well, and they were right up there. And it just proves how hard it's going to be. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that there's, you know, it's a. Again, to reiterate, I'm not saying that I was, you know, annoyed enough to really start criticising people, but I just sense more frustration than ever before that maybe we're not as far along the line as you would expect to be.
That's it. We've been going for over an hour, and I'm going to call it the end of this one
My
because
last wishes I could.
my battery is about to die, and if my battery dies, I can't end the stream, so we'll be going forever and not realising what's
Could
happening.
just plug it in.
Thanks everybody for joining us. It's been a pleasure as always. If you are listening back on the audio, which does go out the next day after I record this live on YouTube, just give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to us on. If you're watching on YouTube as well, like the video. It means a lot to us. Become a subscriber. Costs you nothing to do that. If you do want extra content and early access to content as well as access to the members group, become a member. It is just $2.99 a month.
It's been wild in there this last week as well.
It's been great in there. It's been absolutely great. But yeah, thanks everybody. See you later. And actually, this is the last time you're going to see this studio as well. See you later.